Hi everyone, it's Sue. Welcome back. Welcome to another Friday. Where are the weeks going? It's ridiculous. I just can't keep up. So I'm doing a Fodder Friday at the moment. We did the first one last week and I hope you all enjoyed that. So today I'm going to be using the Paul Rubens Neon Set again. I'm just infatuated with it. I just can't stop using it. And I'm also going to be using a size 4 round brush. Now this is one of my favorite flowers to do. I did see this somewhere ages ago, hadn't tried it and just remembered it, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And I absolutely love doing them. You can do them in any size. So I always struggle to do smaller ones, so I'm going to try and do some smaller ones today. So I'm just going to activate my colours, and you'll probably see in these Fodder Fridays the same sort of colours being used, mainly because they're the colours that I enjoy using. But you of course use any colours, and you don't have to use neon. I have actually done these flowers in other colours before. I actually don't have one here to show you, which is unusual. I normally have, actually hang on a minute. I do actually have a few. These are the flowers that I'm going to show you today. So these are a little bit smaller, which is good. Normally I tend to go in and make bigger ones, which work well as well. And these are so easy to do. Once again, they'll go through an ugly stage until we add the pen work. So let's get into it, and I'll just show you how easy these are. You don't have to be able to draw. I'm once again just using a really cheap, inexpensive watercolour paper from Kmart here in Australia. So you can use whatever you like. You can use mixed media paper, anything. All right, what I'm going to do is I want the yellow for the center, and I'm going to start with some pink. So what you need to do is we're going to take it straight from the pan this time, and we're going to just really fill our brush. You can see I've got a lot of paint on there, and we're going to just do 5 dots. Okay, so we're going to do 1. You can see it just sits on the paper there and beads, and I refill my brush, the tip of my brush, each time. So we're just doing a little circle of 5 dots. Doesn't have to be perfect. So you can see, hopefully you can see there, 5 dots. Now, I don't come in, sorry, I'm very tired today, so I can't get my words out properly. So I'm just filling this with some more pigment and watering it down a bit, because I may want to drop some of that into this. So what you want to do now is rinse your brush. Doesn't matter if you've got some pink on there. Rinse your brush and fill your brush with water. I just tap it off, and then you want to lay your brush to the side, whether you do it this way or whether you hold it this way. I change, it just depends on how it goes. So you're going to touch the tip of your brush into that dot, and you're just going to squiggle. I don't know what other word to say, and just really squiggle and do a random petal shape. Okay, I move my paper. I just find that easier. Same thing. We're going to, and I just tap off. I normally have a paper towel just to tap off the excess. I don't have any available here at the moment. I've run out. So once again, just put the tip of your brush into that dot and squiggle. Now your petals are going to be all different shapes, which is even better because flowers aren't perfectly symmetrical. Not many anyway. So probably if I clean my desk off, I'd have more room to move around. Okay, same thing. We've just got water on there, probably got a little bit extra water on that one. It's okay. And just squiggle. That's all. If you haven't filled the whole petal, it doesn't matter. It adds to the look. And we're going to do the last one. So there you have a flower. Now, if you want to add some extra pigment to the ends of the petals, you can do that. Just add it in while it's wet. Or you could leave it like lighter if you want to. Basically, that's your flower. What I also, actually I've got a dry baby wipe here. I'm just going to grab that to get the excess water off my brush. What I would like to do now is add a little bit of yellow in there while it's still wet, and that will actually carry through to the petals of the flower. So once again, just water down your pigment. You can just take it straight from the pan. I just prefer to take from a palette that I've done. So here we go. We're going to just add a few little drops around for the center, and you can see that's just traveling through into the petals. If they all don't go all the way through or aren't all the same, like this one's gone in quite a ways whereas the others haven't, that's fine. I just leave it because I just like the imperfection of it. So how easy is that? Not even having to draw. So let's go in with another colour, another pink, of course. And once again, we're going to take straight from the pan and we're going to add 5 dots. Refill the tip of the brush with each dot, just so that you get a decent sized dot of pigment on your paper. I haven't got any glasses on either. I've taken them off because I need them to see close up. I need to take them off to see close up, and then I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got 5 dots there again. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of watered down pigment here to drop into the petals if I want it. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop that to the side. Then we're going to go in. Once again, just fill our brush. It's a brush, Sue, it's a brush. Okay, fill our brush with water, and once again we're going to, I'm just going to tap the end of that because I've got quite a bit in there, and we're just going to come in and squiggle, wiggle, whatever you want to call it, and just do a random petal shape. I just love how they're all so very different, and it's so easy. I could just do this, and I say this with every piece of fodder that I do, especially with the watercolour. I think I said it in the last video. I could just sit for hours and do this. I just find it so relaxing. And these are just so beautiful. Just be careful I don't put my fingers in that one we've just done. So there we have another flower. Easy peasy. Let's put we'll just go with yellow again. I love the color of that combination. That is just beautiful. We'll go with yellow again, and we're just going to do some dots in the middle. Some of the petals will take more than the others, and that's all fine. I'm going to leave that one pretty soft. I'm not going to add any more pigment to that one. All right, let's do another one. I'll do another one, and then I'll speed it up while I fill up this whole page, and then when it's dry we'll come back and we'll add some pen work to it. You can do any color. I'm going to use this. This is mixed into an orange, so that yellow's fallen down into that pink. I'm just going to use that as my dots. Now that won't be as pigmented because it's a bit watered down, but that's okay. So once again, fill the tip of your brush, and we're going to do 5 dots. Now you can leave, I'll leave that colour on this time and just see, and I've just tipped the end into the water so that nothing much comes off. So it's going to make it a little bit more vibrant for that one. And then if we use, just keep using the brush without wiping the excess off, you'll see that it, the pigment gets lighter and lighter as we go around the petals. So did any of you give last week's fodder a try? What did you think if you did? It's fun, isn't it? I think it is. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more pigment into these, and you can just do it as random as you like. I'm sort of just doing it down one side. Once again, I'm not an artist, I'm not a watercolorist, and I just do pretty much self-taught, just look at some videos here and there and just play. It's funny, you know, I'm happy to play with watercolors, but when it comes to mixed media, I'm too scared to play. It's funny, isn't it? All right, so we're going to put another bit of color into the center of this, and let's go with pink. We'll go with this bright pink. So I'm basically just going around in a circle. So we'll have colour in the centre of the flower, and then that colour transfers into the petals. You can just sort of push it a little bit further if you want to. And I sometimes just sort of move my paper around, no rules, just play. So aren't they just beautiful? All right, I'm going to speed this part up, and I'm going to fill this page. Sometimes I add flowers, I might add, leaves. Sometimes I add leaves to them as well. So I might do one with leaves maybe. But sometimes what I prefer to do is do the leaves separate, so that depending on what I'm working on, I can add the leaves wherever I wish. So, all right, enough talking. I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to fill up this page, and then I'll come back when they're dry. Okay, so they're all dry. I did just do a couple of random leaves so that I can cut them out and show you how to place them or what they look like with leaves underneath. So as I said, they don't look that pretty at the moment. I love some of the colors, some not so much, but once we add the pen work, you'll see them come to life again. So all I do is pretty much the same sort of thing that I do with most of my botanical fodder. Is this is my favorite pen, Signo Uniball 0.07, I think it is 0.7, and I just do really random lines, so I haven't gone exactly around that petal, and then I come back in again with another line, so it sort of just gives it a little bit more life. So I do that pretty much around every petal. Once again, the messier the better. You don't get too caught up in it being perfect then. And some of these I've gone close to the edge, but that's okay. We're going to be fussy cutting them out. So try to use as much of my watercolor page as possible. So that's made a huge difference already. Now we could go in and we could add like some creases coming from the inside of the petal. If you wanted to, you could just leave them as they were. So I'm just doing just a few lines here and there. So you can see that's different again. And if you really want to, where these join, you could even add, you know, like a couple of creases in there as well. I don't always do that. I don't think it's necessary, but you can do whatever you like. So just where the pen joins. So it's come to life already. I do come back in with like an acrylic pen or something like that. You can see this one, I've done like an acrylic pen. I'm going to go and do the pen work on all of these. Now this one, we may even come in with, because it's a little bit darker, the black. I mean, the black would still show, but let's do I don't know, actually. No, I'm going to stick with the black, I think. I was going to say we'll do white, but you know, maybe we could do white, a few white lines in there like that. That's probably what I'll do. But what I'll do is I'll fast forward over this. You can just watch me very quickly do these petals really roughly. And then what I'll do is I'll actually fussy cut them out and then show you the finished flowers. All right, I'll see you shortly. So I've cut all those out, and what I'm doing now is I've just got some acrylic paint pens here, and I'm just dotting in the centers. So I've just used some gold in these. You know what's really good as well is if you dip the end of your paintbrush into some acrylic paint and do dots like that, so you'll get a little bit of texture in the middle. So you can see I've done some different colors. So that's all I'm doing. It's just, and all I do is just really randomly, just around the center like that. Sometimes I think the acrylic is a lot more visible, but you know, you can always go back in with another color once this has dried. But I just love these flowers. They'd have to be my favourite, I think, fodder to do. So I did do a couple of leaves, you can see there as well, and I just did the same thing. I went around with the squiggly lines. Just move that out of the way. And yeah, you can just use them in your journal however you wish. You know, it doesn't, you know, you can pop the flower up. This is obviously on a white background here, so, but you can paint these and actually have the leaves there as well. So you can just cut it all out as one. As I said earlier, I prefer to have the leaves separate so that I can add, you know, add them however I like and put them on my page or my bits of ephemera tags, that sort of thing. So these are what we've done today. I'm really happy with them. Absolutely love them. So colourful and so much fun. I love this one. And this one, obviously, because it's pink. They're all beautiful. And you can also use any of your watercolours. You don't have to use neon like I've used. It's just a matter of me just enjoying it at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll be back next Friday, hopefully, with another Fodder Friday. And let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see in particular. I'll see if I can give it a go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I hope you get a little bit of creative time in. Take care. Bye-bye.